What's going on? I'm Reece Ratliff, and I'm an artist, songwriter, and producer, and a member of Adam's private mentorship group, the Billboard 500 Club. You're here on the Music Industry Contact YouTube channel, where we do in-depth breakdowns of hit songs. In today's video, I'm going to be analyzing Love Dive by IVE. If you didn't already know, we cannot monetize these videos here, so our Patreon Golden Ear community means the world to us. Over on Patreon, you can find exclusive content, early access to videos, and polls to help select the next song to break down. If you're already supporting our channel over on Patreon, we want to say thank you so much. And if not, click the link in the description below to join us over there. Without further ado, let's get into the song.
네가 참 궁금해 그건 너도 마찬가지 이거면 충분해 좋고 좋는 이런 놀이 참을 수 없는 이끌림과 호기심 묘한 너와 나 두고 보면 알겠지 눈동자래로 감추고 있는 거 Yeah, it's so bad, it's good
Whoa, I love these melodies. So the intro is really cool. They start out with just a pretty simple kick snare and then a ticking clock sound. And the subdivisions in that are really interesting. They go so they put the little shuffle later in the first line than they do in the second. Let's listen back to that.
Yeah.
Same thing that second time.
네가 참 궁금해 그건 너도 마찬가지 이거면 충분해 좋고 좋는 이런 너.
So their melody here, they're using a technique called sequential repetition, where they start on the 6, the root chord of the minor key. And they go da, 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 da. Go to the 3, which would be the dominant chord, the 5 in that scale. Ba, ba, da, ba, da, da, da. Ba, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba. So it's essentially the same melody, but moved down to fit the other chord. They're using the harmonic minor scale here as well, which uses that raised 7th and just gives it a really interesting tonality. Break it up on the 3rd line, go to the 4 chord, the 5 chord, which raises it and elevates back into the same melody on the 6 and the 3. And then going into the pre, they ride that same motif that they use in the 3rd line, but they extend it. So it goes 4 to 5 to 6 to 1, which is the root note of the major key that we have not heard yet in the song. Another power of 3. Switch it up on that 3rd time. And totally different 4th line using the contrast of bad and good. Pretty common songwriting trick to bring in 2 words or phrases that contrast or contradict with each other. Just gives the listener a little bit of extra intrigue having the dichotomy between 2 opposing things.
Yeah, it's so bad, it's good.
I love how they play with 3s here. This is actually my first time listening to IVE. a lot of the K-pop groups are really strong in this aspect, and it's clear that these girls are no exception. The end of that pre is you think it's going to be a third, but the third turns into a three of its own. So it's essentially a power of three within another power of three. Very cool technique.
This is stigma, God, I love it. 서로를 비춘 밤. 아름다운
Oh! Again, sequential repetition in the chorus. Slightly different, but they are using the same 6 to the 3 movement chordally. And then they have a cool little kind of pop sound come in.
서로를 비춘 밤. 아름다운 까만.
Cool little fill.
서로를 비춘 밤. 아름다운 까만 눈빛도 빠져 깊이. 숨 참고.
Again, switching it up there after that third line with the negatos and negativo. A little bit more of a spoken line as well to contradict and contrast the sung lines that we have leading up to that point. Instrumentation, as far as the chorus goes, is really simple. They have a 4 on the floor kick. Every other beat, the 2 and the 4, they have, it's acting as a snare, but it's really just kind of a little whisper of air. And then they have a sub and kind of a glitchy, almost like drill like synth that rides on top of that, a little bit more tucked back. Let's listen to that chorus one more time.
This is stigma, God, I love it. 서로를 비춘 밤. 아름다운 까만 눈빛도 빠져 깊이.
So this is really subtle as well, but on that first line, the drill just plays the first half of the line. The second line, it comes in at an interesting spot and plays for most of it. And the third line, it plays the whole time. So even within the chorus, they're consistently building the sonic information and playing around with different textures. They're not, just making one loop and riding with that throughout the whole section. And then at the end, they bring back that popping sound and they have a really conclusive melody to end the chorus. Da, 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 da. So it runs back down to the root of the minor key from the 5th scale degree back to the 1. Ba, 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 ba.
Love dive. Oh, perfect sacrifice. Yeah. Soon champ, love dive.
This post is really cool too because they have a call and response in the melody. So similar. Same notes, different order. But here, as opposed to having some of the same melodies in the responses, each response for the 3 calls is different. So they have la la la, they have one that uses the title. In a scent, yeah, and then right back, same conclusive melody to end the post. They had to end the chorus. And then back to that ticking clock for the break in between the sections. Some whisper textures going on in the background. So they have another kind of drill sound coming in the right ear here, and a harmony that moves in contrasting motion to the lead melody. It just rises from that natural seventh that we get with the harmonic minor back to the root note of the minor key.
마음은 이렇게 알다가도 모르지 사랑이라는 건 한순간에 필 테니.
And then the second line, that harmony follows the contour of the main lead line a little bit closer there. I love how, rather than just writing in harmonies that always follow what the lead is doing, they're able to go back and forth between one that contrasts and one that follows. Really, really cool example of a lot of the vocal arrangement that they're doing in this track. If that's something that you would like to learn more of, we have a great course on vocal arrangement and a great course on harmonies on the Billboard500.com. Both have massively helped me, not just in hearing them, but also being able to apply those skills to my own composition. So no harmony on the third line, and then on that fourth line, they have a minor third below the melody. Da, ba, 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 da, ba, ba, ba. So it's actually, I believe, the minor sixth below, not the minor third. So it would be a major third above the octave down, or a minor sixth below would be the same distance between those two notes. But the first time here, rather than da 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 da, like they did in the first, da 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 da, da 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 da, the second line. Yeah, it's so bad, it's good. Same thing, that third line. Da 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 da. Just a slight change between the first pre and the second pre continues to build sonic information and keep the listener engaged. I believe that whoo in the break is new for chorus 2, and also calls back to that pre-melody. But the rest of the chorus, for the most part thus far, sounds like the same between the two. That vocal sounds like it's mostly in the left ear when it's the spoken piece. And I believe the pop is mostly in the right. Whoa! That tension and release moment is crazy. So they wait to bring the production in until the 2, the second beat on this next post. Again, a pretty common production trick to build tension and release, build suspense and adrenaline throughout the track. You're expecting it to hit and it doesn't, so you're a little bit taken aback for a second, and then when it does, thrown right back into that part that you know and love. Very cool moment. They have an ascending harmony. Is the harmony. I don't remember that from the first post. It could have been there, but I think they use that to build in the second time. It's a cool little subdivision they're doing with the hats too. Overall, the drum groove is pretty simple, but they have that just kind of gives it a little bit more of a shuffle feel and really keeps your head bopping throughout that whole section. This section is super interesting. They really suck out all the air. They take it to just the sub and almost like a marching band drumline type snare over that kick. But that high synth, I believe, is playing the major 3, where we would typically have a minor 3 within the context of that chord. So it's very dissonant. It's very jarring compared to anything else in the song. Definitely an interesting artistic choice to have that there. Let's listen back to this section. Those whisper tracks. That with a little filter on it, some of the high end rolled off. Little vocal risers. And that dum 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 dum. It's not the same melody, but again, it's in sequence with the da ba ba da ba melody that they use to end the chorus and the post. Just another 5-note descending scale. Right back into the chorus. No wait for it. Very cool. So they just go back to the post, sing it straight through. I believe the same harmonic arrangement as the last time. And then on that last just kind of has another breath after the vocal ends, and then it's over. Really, really cool. Before I go into final thoughts on this track, just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more. And if you're a musician that wants to up your game in songwriting, production, networking, business, really everything across the board, highly recommend you join us in the Billboard 500 Club. Applications are open at thebillboard500.com. We will be closing at 500 members, so make sure you get in while you can. We have over 70 mentors that come in and teach on topics all throughout the music industry. I know I've learned so much and massively expanded my network since joining, so would highly recommend for anybody interested. This song is really interesting because so much of it is just very straightforward, very hooky, very, down the middle K-pop. Like I said, I haven't listened to too much of IVE's stuff. I'm not sure what the rest of their discography sounds like, but I really like this song. The post in the pre having such similar melodies threw me a little bit at first. As you could hear, I kind of struggled to remember that melody, but I think for somebody that has listened to this song more than just once, it's something that would definitely get ingrained because all the melodies are very catchy. The one piece I didn't love, just because it was so jarring and almost piercing to my ear, was that bridge section. I think the intention was cool. I love how they brought out the energy, but I don't know if that is the note that I would have gone to for that one part. But again, it's an artistic choice. It definitely caught my attention, and I'm talking about it, so it clearly had an effect. Yeah, very cool track. Love the vocal arrangement, love the production. Not too many elements, but they really filled out the space with what they did have. Love the way they used the clock, that ticking sound, and the lyrics are really interesting. Couldn't understand all of them, speaking English first and foremost, but that hook of "Hold Your Breath, Love Dive" is something that I don't know exactly what it means, but it definitely paints a couple different pictures. And I think anytime as a writer you can find a lyric like that that is vague, but also a little bit provocative, a little bit, charged with what it's saying, you're onto something really cool. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Reece Ratliff. I'll see you next time.